That little yellow box says we're live, so here we go. This is going to be the Android Headline Show, episode 83. My name is Nick. I'm joined by Alex, and we have a guest, Kevin. Want to say hi, guys?
Hello.
Yeah. So this is first time in a while that we've had a guest. This is pretty cool. And we got plenty to talk about today. We got lots and lots of hands-on stuff. Alex has been at like 50 shows in the last week, pretty much all around the world, all kinds of good stuff. Practically everything that's come out, at least one of us has. So we got all kinds of things to talk about. Pretty much everything you want to know. We're going to be going over tonight and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started in a little bit of light news that we got tonight. So the big thing that happened like the last day or two is AT&T is being sued over their use of unlimited plans. So basically forever now, AT&T's done their unlimited stuff, people get grandfathered in or whatever, and they have not been exactly honest with their whole spiel about unlimited and getting throttled after a while and all that stuff. They're saying that they have been, FTC is saying they haven't, so I don't know exactly what this is going to mean for them, if it's going to turn out bad for them, what it's going to do to the industry, because we have some other people in the industry like T-Mobile and them who do the same throttling thing, but they tell you ahead of time, maybe a little more clearly than AT&T has been. So I don't know if you guys have any opinions on that. What do you think is going to happen with it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen with it, but it is pretty interesting to see what effect that is going to have on the total market. Because I know I was using Straight Talk for a while, and they were very non-clear about their data plan, and I was getting throttled sometimes the first week of the month, sometimes not throttled at all, and it was really confusing for me. So I think what should come out of it is more defined data, like what exactly is unlimited data? Is it unlimited data for one day? Is it for the whole month? Or sort of things like that. But I mean, I just wonder what effect does it have on the network if they provide truly unlimited data? Does it really impact their network? Like, why does it matter? It's like charging for text messages. Like, why does that really affect them? Or are they just really trying to pinch every penny? Is my question.
That's exactly what they're doing because with all the changes, especially AT&T and Verizon have done with their data buckets lately,
Yep.
it just shows that data buckets aren't really hurting their network. It's just lining their pockets and the shareholders' pockets.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of arbitrary numbers that maybe they did a little bit of studying here and there, and they figured, okay, most people don't use more than, I don't know, 4 gigs or whatever, so we'll just cap it off at 5 and call it a day or something like that. And now we see, even though their subscriber numbers are up in some cases, and we have more people on LTE or whatever, they're still raising the data amounts. So obviously, we're not having as many problems with network throughput and all that. Although I'm sure your journey to New York City tells you differently in some cases.
Well, even Kevin can do AT&T over there
Yeah,
because that's
of
what he
course.
has.
We're talking a city of 10 million people, so it's
Yeah,
probably
I think it's more like
pretty unique situation.
well, it was the same thing in Chicago. The Moto X Motorola gave me was on the Moto G2, but they were both on AT&T, and man, it was terrible. Then you go to T-Mobile and Verizon, it's like the complete opposite, just like 70, 80 megs. AT&T is like 2, 3.
Yeah, it's weird because it depends on where you're at, like what part of the country you're in, depending on which one gets better service. Because I know a lot of people down south will say that T-Mobile has the best service. Up here, I'm like, no, T-Mobile's terrible. I can't get a signal anywhere. So it just depends on where you're at, and I guess where their main tower is at, and where they're focusing most of their, I guess, efforts towards, and
Like
advertising dollars, I think.
yeah, like even up here in Michigan, some parts of Michigan, T-Mobile is really good. Like down here in the area of Detroit that I'm in, and some of the suburbs over here. But when you go further up north, it gets worse. I know when I was in Flint, it was pretty bad. That's why I left them for a while.
Yeah, over here, T-Mobile is pretty bad as well. Over in this
Yeah,
region that I'm in, and kind of the Novi area. So, yeah,
yeah,
and we're pretty much we're about 30 miles apart while we're talking here, and there's a big difference between service
mm.
just in this small little 30-mile radius. So,
I mean, give Verizon for an example. I've said this many times before, but I don't even get LTE at home. But if I walk about 2, 3 blocks away from the Detroit River, I can get full LTE signal of like 60, 70, like even 85 is what I got the last time I did a speed test on the Xperia Z3V, and that was only a block away. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it varies so much.
It's still, yeah, I was gonna say it's still sporadic, even though you know they trout these big maps that the whole map is covered in red or the whole map is covered in peak, but you still have these pockets that does not get that signal at all. So
Yeah, there's plenty of that stuff over here too. I mean, I've found, especially on HSPA, T-Mobile just murders everyone.
Well,
And
they're the
then,
only one that went to 42 for HSPA, I think.
yeah, I mean, I guess just 3G in general, T-Mobile murders everyone. It's not even close.
It's kind of not fair to compare it with Sprint and Verizon because their 3G technology is different.
Yes,
Because they only go up to like 3. And then AT&T only did 21 for HSPA, which is still nowhere near what you actually get.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
yeah.
yep. Like, as usual, really depends on where you're at and what phone you're using and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So, speaking of botching stuff, we have OnePlus botched something yet again. Big friggin' surprise. So we had their whole pre-order thing went live, and website crashed, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. They ended up postponing it for a day, and of course now it's done. So they had a whole apology and all that. I really love the phone. They are terrible at their jobs. I don't know if it's just them being super small and having a hard time getting, in this case, the equipment for the servers or whatever, just poor planning. I don't know. It's just... It's like deja vu at least every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with their website, I guess it was people were having issues with their website, trying to pre-order their OnePlus. They're not the only ones that have had this. Motorola last year for Black Friday had that issue, and that's why they did 2 more Black Friday sales. Google has had this issue with the Play Store, especially with the Nexus 4 launch. So they're not alone there, but it just doesn't go well for them.
If this was the first time they made a mistake, I will feel a little better. But it seems like every day they wake up and say, okay, how can we look like idiots this morning? And I think they're honestly doing that, from the whole thing where they wanted women to post little signs holding the OnePlus One sign, take pictures of themselves to get an invite. I mean, seriously, like, I'm a big fan of the phone. I have a OnePlus One. I love the phone, but I don't know what they're doing. And the whole bamboo, how that was kind of promised that you'll be able to buy these shells where you can, change the look of your phone. Then now they're not selling the shells, but now they are selling them as limited supply quantity, which is invite only. It's just this whole invite thing is getting out of hand, and it really dries the hype up to something. But at the same time, it makes people more frustrated, where they say, forget it. Why do I need to wait for an invite for this thing that by the time I get it, it wouldn't even be cutting edge technology anymore? Now the phone's 6 months old when I finally get an invite. Should I still buy it? That's sort of what's going to happen, I think.
Yeah, I still think they should have did pre-orders from the very beginning, because it would have helped them figure out how much they need to make instead of just doing invites and just making more and more and more. But I said that before. It's that's just all Chinese marketing, because that's basically what Xiaomi, Mizu, and a lot of the other ones do. Is they make a batch of phones, say it's going to be for sale on this day, and it's sold out in like 2 seconds.
Yep.
There's it's not really a question, but it's like a statement from TK Bay. I hope that's not the TK I think it is. But he says, wait, Google had the same thing today with the Nexus 6. Not quite. Google just sold out really quickly. Their website didn't go down as far as I know, right?
Correct. I never saw it go down, and I don't think they had problems with ordering. Like the Nexus 4, God, that was a friggin' headache. It took, I don't even remember how long it took me to get one of those, and refreshing the page and crash. It was terrible. But yeah.
I had some crashes with the Nexus 4, but it wasn't as bad as everybody else was. I know some people ended up with like 2 or 3 Nexus 4s and getting charged like 2 and 3 times for them. I was lucky. I only got charged once, and I was in the first batch, so I was lucky.
Yeah, I guess on the bright side, OnePlus didn't have that big of a problem. That the Nexus 4 thing, I think, is in its own little world.
I think the Nexus 4 was so bad is because it's Google. I mean, they're the biggest search engine out there. so everybody expected more from them.
Yeah, they just had too much. And then I don't know if you saw the numbers that OnePlus was talking about in that interview earlier this week, but they're saying that they've sold somewhere around 1 million units at this point. So even with all these
Oh
screw-ups,
wow.
it seems like they're doing a good job. Like, at the very least, I guess, what is it? Bad press is good press, whatever. I can't remember what the heck the saying is, but
Yeah, any press.
their name is out there. People know about them.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
I'm not sure I believe the near 1 million. Maybe if they're talking about like 800 or 750,000, but not like 950,000 and up. I do see a lot of people on Google Plus with them, but obviously Google Plus is all like Android geeks like us, and that's really what it appeals to.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. We're such a small percentage. We're such a small slither of the pie. And I've never seen a OnePlus One in public. I've seen all sorts of phones in public. I've seen Nexus 5 in public, but I haven't seen a OnePlus One. So you telling me 1 million, I have a really hard time believing that. And if you sold 1 million, that means, what is your profit share? Like, is there profit margin $20 per phone, $50 per phone? If that's the case, they made some pretty good coin where they can, up production if they want.
yeah, the interview was saying I think they needed to sell somewhere around 500,000 was their goal, and they've exceeded that. And I guess somewhere around September they started making a profit. So I don't know, I mean, like you said, what their profit margins are. I can't imagine they're much with the phone that they have. But I haven't actually seen one in public.
I've seen them in public, but I don't know if it counts because it was at I had a ZTE this week, and about half the people there, they're all tech journalists like me, all had like a OnePlus One. So
I had my OnePlus One too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like they're telling ZTE not to be like OnePlus because that phone doesn't exist, and like 4 people held up their OnePlus One.
Nice. Yeah. I saw it at a theme park, so I don't know, whatever. I thought it was pretty funny because I'm walking along and I look at everybody's phones because that's what I do, and I'm like, what the heck? Holy crap! That's a OnePlus One! I can't believe it! Like.
Yeah, when I'm in New York, I always look around to see like what phones I see there. And last time I saw like not that many Samsung ones. It was mostly LG and HTC. I actually saw a Z3, T-Mobile Z3, from somebody. I was like, really? Awesome.
Speaking of New York, I haven't been in New York, I think, in 2 years, and it seems like New York is just one big Android ad now, because there's a lot of Android ads out there. There's a huge Samsung banners, there's LG banners. I mean, from where I was staying in Times Square, I didn't see one Apple banner at all. And I'm sure there's Apple billboards all over the place, but where I was at, everything was Android. It was pretty refreshing to see, and I did see a lot of Samsung phones. If I didn't see a Samsung phone, I heard the little blooping noise around me all the time, so I knew Samsungs were within the radius of me. So
yeah. I still saw a lot of them. I just don't think they were the majority of the ones I saw. And a lot of them I couldn't tell which ones they were, but then again, most of them all look the same. Yep, I did see somebody with the Galaxy Mega 6.3 again. That's like the third time I've seen with that thing.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those too.
I'm not sure if it was last year's or this year's version though, because they're pretty much same spec-wise. Just this year's is full leather back. Google has a couple of like really big ads over in Times Square, where it's like be together, not the same. There's one on 42nd Street, and there's another one. Where was it? It was over by where TNT was doing their opening night for the NBA last night. Because I got some pictures of that for my Droid Turbo review.
Yeah, I like it. Well, speaking of New York City, we'll move into hardware here. You guys can talk about your Droid Turbos, and Alex, you got all your Google devices and all that great stuff from today.
Oh, I have something else I haven't even told you I have.
Oh, man.
I'm so jealous right now.
I also have the Xperia Z3 from T-Mobile. It was waiting for me when I got home and off the flight.
Dang.
I really have only unboxed the thing. That's all I've done. I haven't even like uploaded the video yet because I just got home a couple hours ago. But going back to the Droid Turbo, man, this thing is nice. Wait. I got the black Kevlar. I'm not sure which one Kevin has.
Same, yes, same
Uh,
one.
I wanted the red one. They said they didn't have one. I don't believe them. But
I think everyone was getting the. I think everyone was getting the black
yeah,
ballistic, sir, not Kevlar.
yeah. Everybody was trying to get
These,
the ballistic nylon because it's the only 64 gigabyte one.
yep. And in my opinion, I think it looks the best. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
sure if
so.
this is with yours. It feels slippery. I don't know. Like I almost dropped this phone twice already. I'm not sure if it's just the form factor or because it's sort of tapered towards the edge. But it's just I don't know. I can't hold on to it. I don't know why.
It doesn't feel that slippery to me. But I've used a lot of phones that are curved because this one's curved, but not like as much as the Moto X was, or even the Nexus 6. Well, it's pretty much the same phone, just bigger.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody knows,
So
but spec-wise, it's a Snapdragon 805 in here. QHD display at 5.2 inches, so it's, what was it, 565 pixels per inch, I think. You got capacitive
mhm.
keys, but I don't think they're as bad as I thought they'd be. At least they don't look like the Droid ones that we've had last year. Um, 3900 milliamp battery supposed to last 48 hours. I'm not so sure on that quite yet, but I haven't been using it normally because I've been traveling, so I've been using it a lot heavier than I normally would, especially for hot spotting and stuff like that. Basically, all the same stuff the Moto X has. We have Droid Zap again. It's got a few more things, so like you can automatically upload screenshots, so people nearby you can see what you're showing or whatever. Um, I mean, battery yesterday was pretty good, but today not so much.
Yeah, so for me right now, I charged it 100% last night, and this morning I said I'm going to give it 48 hours. So right now I'm at 14 hours and 55 minutes with my screen on time just closing in on 3 hours, and I'm at 39%. So I don't think I'm going to make it the 48 hours, but I think I'm probably going to get 26 hours is what I'm guessing because overnight I'm not going to be using the phone, obviously. Um, so comparing it to my OnePlus One, the battery is better than the OnePlus One um, by a couple hours actually. I mean, I'm impressed with the battery, but when they said 48 hours, I said okay, 24 hours. Just like when they give
Yeah,
you like miles per gallon with cars, they say 38. No, it's 25. Same thing. So,
because like,
but I'm impressed so far with the battery.
even with the Moto X, they say 24 hours of mixed usage. I don't know how like many hours on screen they mean in mixed usage or whatever, but I could usually get like 16 to 18 hours out of the Moto X. Last year it was good until KitKat came out, and then the battery life was just terrible. I don't know if it ever got back up to what it was when it launched.
Yeah.
But even the Droid Max last year, that one was actually pretty good. I think I was getting like 7 to 8 hours on LTE on screen time,
That's
so
not bad
that
at
was
all.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, so we got 32 and 64 gigabyte versions. It's on sale tomorrow, I think at 1 p.m.
Hmm.
Um, so the two Kevlar versions, the black and the red one looks really nice. We have pictures up on the site of that one. That one will be 199 on contract, and the ballistic nylon is only 64 gigabytes, and that one's 249 on contract. So Motorola has some really nice stuff at Verizon.
Yeah, and Verizon actually has a pretty cool policy where if you crack your
Yep.
screen, they'll replace your phone for you one time per contract, which is actually pretty cool because I guess they're standing behind the screen and trying to do something different, I guess, because I would assume that they're losing a lot of customers due to T-Mobile and a lot of pay-as-you-go plans. They have to do something a little bit different to make themselves
Yeah.
stand out in the market again. So I was talking to one of the Verizon reps, and he said that he thinks that their pricing now is the most aggressive they've been in quite some time. And
Yeah.
I did take a look at their pricing, and recently their prices did drop a lot, and that actually is pretty competitive with the other guys now. I know Verizon used to be a lot more, and now it dropped the price a bit. So, but so far I am enjoying this phone. Now, I guess me and Alex are sort of different when it comes to the camera. He has a lot of great shots coming out of it, but for some reason I can't get good pictures coming out of mine. So I need to do a little more investigating on that. But overall, I am really happy with the phone. Um, you know, of course, we're going to have the full review on our site as well. So, you know, I'm going to use this phone for a few more days and kind of go from there.
Yeah, the camera I've been pretty impressed with. I was coming from the Xperia Z3V before that, so the camera was pretty good on that one as well. So we're gonna have some comparisons up of that one along with the Z3 and probably the Nexus 6 in probably about a week or so. Droid Turbo, I've been getting pretty good images. I've been posting them up on Google Plus for pretty much the last 24 hours. And low light, it's doing really good, especially with HDR. There was one that I took in Times Square last night. It was at the NBA 2K15 area over there, and it came out really nice. I sent it to Nick yesterday, and he was just amazed at like all the detail in it.
Yeah, you killed me with that one shot in the sweet shop or wherever the heck you were. Was it the M&M store or something?
Oh, the Hershey store, yeah.
God, I was looking at it like, dear God, what the heck, man?
You walk in and all you smell is chocolate. I'm like, I have to leave.
I don't know how I missed that store when I was there, man.
It was like
walking
into Google's event this morning. Like that's all you smelled was like coffee and sugar, because they had all the sweets out.
I'll take it.
It was like sweets everywhere. Like there's like boxes or clear boxes like jelly beans all over the place. Like cupcakes and donuts and ice cream sandwiches.
Good old. Did they have any honeycombs?
I didn't see any.
That's disappointing.
Any eclair or foil?
Honey with honeycombs in it.
I saw everything except for honeycomb. It might have been there. I might have missed it because I wasn't really looking that hard. But I saw the rest of it when I was walking through to get to the first area they had us going into.
So you wanna?
It was really nice, man. I wish it wasn't just on Verizon though. But
yeah, they're supposed to have an unlocked GSM version, right?
Yep.
Isn't that what I heard?
There was a rumor that came out today that there might be an unlocked version, the Moto Max. Man, I want that.
Yeah, that's getting a lot of people excited because the number one question people had for me once I was showing the Turbo off is there a GSM version coming out? How can I get on GSM? Does it work on T-Mobile? Does it work on AT&T? I mean, a lot of people are excited about this phone. Now, I'm not sure if the excitement level exceeded the Nexus 6, but I did see some comments where people are saying that, oh, this should have been the Nexus 6, or this could have been this, could have been that. So, you know, for me, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's an exciting time. I think for Motorola has really proven themselves as a true contender in the mobile landscape again, because for me, it felt like Motorola fell off a few years, and now see them coming back in here, I think it's going to really put pressure on the Samsungs and also put pressure on the HTCs of the world as well.
Yeah, because if they can release the Droid Turbo as like the Moto Max, or I think there's also that Moto S name floating around, they can release that not only in GSM here in the U.S., but like over in Europe and, you know, other parts of the world as well. Because I was talking with Tom, one of our other editors, and he's like, man, I want that thing, but I know it's not going to come to the UK. And he's probably right, because Motorola doesn't usually bring stuff over there. The last 2 years is like the first time they've really been there. And their market share really increased after they put the Moto G and E over there, I think late last year. When I was in Chicago at their event last month, I think they jumped up to like 10% market share or something like that in the UK, and they went from like 0. Wow. And that was just in like less than a year. So
yeah, that was impressive. Those numbers are crazy.
And they're number 1 in India, or maybe it's number 2. They're pretty big in India though.
They're out there, yeah.
They've been targeting India pretty hard lately.
Yeah, it's, you know, right product, right time, right price. They nailed it all.
Yeah, the Moto G, man, that thing is amazing for the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really can't beat that. It almost turns into an impulse buy phone. Like you buy that phone for mom and dad or grandma when you want to, you know, do a hangouts with them, or you want to do some type of video chat with them. You just buy them that phone because it's so cheap now. You don't have to commit to anything. So.
And the new Moto G, at least the camera on the back is actually pretty good. It's right on par with the Moto X. I know people say Moto X camera is bad. I got some good shots out of it. Maybe they gave me the good one and everybody else got the bad one.
I don't know, man. You have the magic. You have the magic hands when it comes to cameras. I guess you make.
I guess.
Yes.
You,
I've said this a million times with Samsung cameras. You always seem to get great pictures out of those pieces of crap.
Like the Galaxy Alpha. I was using that this week too. Man, after using the Xperia Z3V, that thing is.
Alex is the guy who walks around Times Square with 8 phones in his pants.
I'll give him
And you wonder why Homeland Security is like looking at him every 2 seconds, and why there's cameras and flying drones chasing after him.
That's Speaking of having 8 different phones, you got at least a Nexus 6 there.
Yeah, I have a white Nexus 6 32 gigabyte. It still isn't. Oh, it's close to full, but it's at 90% now. So it's still charging up. I haven't used it a whole lot really, because I basically got it, then went to the airport and came home. But so far, this is what I was saying before about the size. Before I actually saw it or got my hands on it, I thought it would be feel smaller than it is, because the Moto X does, and that's because it's curved and it's so thin at the edges here. So it feels smaller in your hand, and this one does feel smaller in your hand. Because I have used a 6-inch device before, the Huawei SN Mate 7, and that was probably about a month ago, if that. So, and that one felt a lot bigger than this thing does. Don't ask me about battery life, because it hasn't even fully charged. It's really hard to say.
What about your, Oh, go ahead.
No, we can say.
No, I was just gonna say, what about sample pictures? Like, have you taken a picture of the same thing with both cameras to compare?
I haven't done that, but I have taken some pictures. I think I sent Nick a couple this morning, and he liked it. And that was down in Google's event, where it was super colorful.
Yeah, it looked nice.
Here. I got some on the flight back too. Let's see. Some of these weren't actually taken with the camera, because on the Nexus now, there's just the Photos app. There's no gallery app. So I'm in my Google Plus Photos app, which means all my pictures from everything, even the stuff from my actual camera.
Man.
So that's the picture of my G-Watch R. I'm not sure which other pictures were taken with this, but that one came out pretty good. I posted on Google Plus if anybody wants to check it out. But some of these other ones look pretty good as well. It does do 4K video. I took a 7-minute video. It took like 2 gigs of storage.
4K recording on a non-4K screen. I don't understand it still. Call me crazy. I don't understand it.
It's better than on a 1080p screen.
Yeah, it's getting there, but I don't know. It sounds silly to me. But
actually, I know Nick would
talk about that guy.
I know Nick would use the Nexus 9 as a phone, except for as an NVIDIA chip in there, so battery life won't be as good. Yeah, it's the Nexus 9. Well, it's bright. I haven't really used this one much, because it's not the LTE version, and didn't really have Wi-Fi at the airport, so I basically only set up everything. I haven't even installed my apps yet, but it's soft touch finish back here, kind of like the Nexus 7. Maybe not quite as soft. You do have the metal frame here. We did ask if you could bend it, and the guy that was talking to us, he actually broke his jaw, so he's saying that's how he broke his jaw.
What?
He's trying to. Well, that was actually on the Nexus 6. He was saying that's how he broke his jaw, is trying to bend the Nexus 6. You also have
Ridiculous.
the front-facing speakers, which you can barely see, kind of like on the Z3 and the Z.
Xperia's, yeah.
Z3. On the Xperia, you can see it a little bit more on the Z3, but on Z3V you can't really see it that much. So,
that's a good trend. I like it a lot.
This one comes out the 3rd. Pre-orders are up now, obviously, but it's shipping on the 3rd. On Amazon, if you have Prime, you can get it as early as the 4th, because $3.99 for overnight shipping.
So that's being a 4x3 tablet and a 9-inch instead of a 7 on top of that. It looks like a considerably wider device. It didn't really look very palmable, if that's a word.
I I can hold it, not comfortably, but
Yeah.
it's a little more difficult. But yeah,
Now, does it feel more comfortable in landscape or portrait? Like if you were just to hold it, like how do you naturally hold it?
like if I'm holding it in landscape for playing games, it feels better, and the reason for that is the bigger bezels here, and that's probably why those are bigger bezels is because that's how most people game on the Nexus,
Yep.
tablets.
Makes
Period,
sense.
because they rest their thumbs there. And that's also where the speakers are. So I haven't had it long enough to really play any games. I haven't even played games on the Droid Turbo yet.
And this is your first time using Lollipop, right?
Yep, on the 6 and the 9.
What are you thinking about that so far? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much there really is to say other than it's probably friggin' awesome.
It is freaking awesome. Like, since I got my SIM card into my Nexus 6, I haven't touched the Droid Turbo. So there you go. But that's also because it was dead.
Yeah, it doesn't really help.
48 hours of battery life right there, baby.
4.8.
Yeah, but you know, actually, I'm using Lollipop on my Nexus 5, and I just love the way it looks. You know, it really has that kinetic feel where everything you interact with has an action on the screen. So like, you know, if you touch if you pull when you pull down notification shade, I mean, everything bounces with it. It really snaps into place. It sort of has that fluidity feel behind it. It feels great, actually. It's probably the most excited I've been with any Android OS ever. So I'm super pumped about that.
Like that's well, you can't really see it because it's just so bright. But the settings menu looks really nice too, especially on like a tablet. Because you know before it was just like one long list. Now it's 2 columns. But I kind of wish when you go to landscape it would go to 3 columns. I guess that's just me being picky though. But all the different transitions and animations, I just keep going and redoing them because it just looks so good. And then you have some of the new material design apps here. So there's a new Gmail app here. It looks a lot like the one for the iPad. I would show it off, but there's some emails that I can't show that are in here. Let's see, what else is material design? Oh, the phone app, but I have to do that on the Nexus 6. So the Nexus, man, it's too bright too. Can't even see it. But yeah, there'll be a ton of stuff on the site in the next couple weeks about it. Maybe a little bit better. So that's the dialer right there. The messaging app looks really nice as well.
Yeah, I really can't wait till AOSP drops so we can start getting ROMs and some of these other things. I'm hoping OnePlus One's one of the first ones that will start dropping ROMs on because I want that thing.
Yes, same here.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex. So now is it difficult for you to reach between, you know, from your notification bar all the way down to the actual like meat of the phone? I mean, because for some reason it just seems like a phone that size will have an issue reaching all the way down with your thumb.
Well, see, I've started holding it like Nick told me to, like that, because I used to hold it like this, and I can't really do that with a bigger phone now. I started doing that a couple weeks ago with the ZT Z-Max. That's a 5.7-inch device to get ready for the Nexus.
You gotta prepare your hand.
Yeah, pretty much. Because before that, I was using like, you know, the G3, and it's not really that big for a 5.5-inch device.
Yeah, that's right. Now for someone that's coming from a Nexus 5 and upgrading to a Nexus 6, do you think that the you know, it will take some time to adjust your hand because the phone is such large? Now, I mean, you've been using pretty large phones, but the average person, you know, hasn't used that many phones. But they came from the 5 go straight to the 6. Do you think that initial hand adjustment would be pretty tough?
I think it will be. Let's see, what was the biggest one I went to? I went from the CinemaMate 7 to Galaxy Alpha 6 inches to 4.7, but I'm pretty quick at adjusting to the screen sizes because, you know, I use so many devices. I think for somebody with the Nexus 5, it's going to take a little bit getting used to, but it's definitely gonna be a good upgrade. I mean, you got QHD display, Snapdragon 805, 3220 milliamp battery, which I hope is a lot better.
Yeah.
I'll definitely see tomorrow how it holds up. It does have one front-facing speaker. It's just at the top. So unlike, well, the Moto X is only at the top as well, but that's how it is on the Nexus 6 too. So
Now, I thought the Nexus 6 was
Yeah.
supposed to have stereo speakers. Didn't they specifically say that?
I've heard both, but I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
So that's why I'm
Yeah.
sticking with one because
You know,
to me this is a Moto X just bigger. So
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, it seems like that's Motorola's MO is to use the one speaker at the top, and
yeah,
sort of
unless you have
throw
a
my yeah, I was gonna say to throw my 2 cents in here. The Moto Turbo speaker isn't good at all, in my opinion. Anything when it comes to the highs, it sounds muffled. Like if you're watching a YouTube video and there's any type of like clapping or laughter, I mean it's piercing your ears almost. So just some food for thought. If they're using the same type of speakers or not, I'm not sure.
yeah, the speaker on the Turbo is just up here. It's a little bit further up than it is on the Moto X and the Nexus 6, and well, those are only the other two devices I have. I just don't know why the Moto G and E have dual speakers and the X doesn't, and the Droid Turbo doesn't. It's like that doesn't make sense to me.
No, not at all.
The Moto G speakers were pretty good when I used it, like what about month and a half ago. So it's hard to remember because of all the phones and stuff changes obviously with software updates, and that might have been pre-release software. So they also gave us the OG G-Watch R, so now I have that to play with. I literally set this up like 5 minutes before the show. But back here you've got your heart rate sensor and your pins, or they're on that side. So you got your pins, so it's basically the same charger as the regular G-Watch, except for it's circle, obviously. I don't know what else to say really, because I haven't done much with it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if they have something like Moto does with the heart rate sensor, or if it's more like a Samsung style.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, you've had 5 minutes to even look at it, so.
I do like that it comes with a leather band because the rubber on my G-Watch, I didn't want to replace it and it was starting to irritate me, so I actually had to take it off yesterday because it was irritating my arm.
Now, Alex, I know a lot of people are going to ask about the thickness between the 360 and the G Watch. Do you mind holding them up for the people to see?
Well, I don't have the 360, but that's the G-Watch or the G-Watch R.
All right, I will hold up.
I can
I'll
compare
hold
it
the
to the G-Watch.
360. Yeah, and then here's the 360.
It looks
For-
like it's a
for-
little bit thicker, but it definitely has more bezel than the 360 does, obviously. I mean,
Yeah, that thing's got like a raised bezel on the side.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the G Watch R, it depends on what picture I'm looking at if I like it or not. Like some pictures I'm like, oh, I'm all on board. I'm going to buy this thing day one. Some pictures I'm like, ah. So it just depends on which angle you look at it, I mean, I'm still on the fence about it because, for me, a smartwatch, I want a smartwatch that looks like a normal watch. That's why I'm so big on the 360 because it looks like, I don't want to look like a toy like that. That's why some of the watches that are, some of the square smartwatches for me, I'm not a fan of them because it looks like a toy. I want something that looks like a functional tool on my wrist that I interact with when I need it, not a little toy where I'm playing, Flappy Birds on or anything like that. So that's why I was interested in the G Watch R a lot, and and that's why I bought the 360 actually. So.
Yeah, and I know I picked up the original Gear, the Galaxy Gear, and I've got the Gear Live and all that crap, and for a while there I was like, oh, I don't care about the round watch versus square watch stuff, but now that the 360 is out and I've seen that thing, I have been converted. So eventually I will move over to that, but I gotta get a Nexus 6 first.
That was the same thing with me because before I reviewed the Moto 360, I'm like, I don't think I care about a round display.
Yep.
But then going back to the G-Watch, is like, man, these watch faces suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I've I can't even tell you how many custom watch faces, all this stuff. I don't like how any of them look on the Square. I don't.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. And then I see some of the Moto 360s, and I'm just like, God, it kills me how good they look.
Yeah, there's a couple Motorola made for the 360 that I really really like.
Yeah, they're sweet.
You see them in my Moto 360 review, because there's a bunch of, actually I like pretty much all the ones Motorola put in there. I also like that with Motorola you can use the Moto Connect app and you can customize the colors on there. Like there's one that you can customize it from being like highlighted blue to orange to pink, or all different colors. And that's also another thing that I really like from the 360.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it really seems like Motorola once again has figured it out. I'm not sure if the Google acquisition had some effect, which I think it did, but I think they really figured something out. The 360 was a fan favorite ever since it was announced, and even when it came out, people are in love with it. And after the recent updates, the battery life has increased. I know for me, I'm getting about a day and a half of battery life versus my 7 to 8 hours I was getting before. So, I'm thoroughly impressed about it. So I'm a big fan of the 360 and anything Motorola is doing right now. I mean, they're really, to me, really taking it up, raising the bar, if you will.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having Nexus 6 and a Moto 360. I'll be in Moto Land in hopefully a couple of weeks. Who knows here?
Yeah, I've been liking Motorola since the Moto X came out last year. I really liked the Moto X.
Agreed.
I know a lot of people hated it because its specs were mid-range, but it still outperformed a lot of Samsung devices that weren't mid-range. Which is why I wrote that editorial about it's not all about specs. It's all about custom or optimizing your software.
Yeah, and people don't want to hear that. Like people do not want to hear the whole specs argument. Optimization is actually where it's at. Like it doesn't matter what your quadrant score is. It doesn't matter what you're pulling down. It depends on how it interacts with the software into it. So that's kind of why I sort of did like a Nexus 6 rant on my YouTube channel, The Tech Ninja, by the way. And that got a lot of people asking me questions like, why don't you care about specs, or why don't you think this phone's going to be better? But your in-app experience between these flagship phones are pretty much the same. I mean, like how much faster can you open that text message? How much faster can you like that girl's Instagram picture? I mean, everything pretty much is the same speed. I mean, when it comes to gaming, you may have a different experience, but everything else, I really don't see a difference right now. Obviously, when the 64-bit architecture really comes into play, then we will see difference. But today, nothing. Everything's pretty much the same.
Yeah, and see, I feel the same way about the thin phones. Like, I don't understand these, 5mm thin phones. I mean, it's cool. You see it and you go, wow, but why would I want that? Because then you can take it and go,
Yeah, like that Apple, was it N3 that came out today? It's so thin it doesn't even have a headphone jack.
Yep.
Dude. Bengate all over that one, man. Bengate.
I mean, going back to the software optimization, when we were in New York on Monday, we checked out, well, you had the OnePlus One and I had the Xperia Z3V, and we checked out, how fast they are, like, side by side, and Sony was actually a little bit faster than the OnePlus One was, which actually surprised me. So it just shows you Sony is really optimizing their code. Or maybe CM is just bloating their code.
Could be a bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know.
CM is adding something like every day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the last bit of hardware you have is the Nexus Player behind you there.
Yep, we got the Nexus Player. Looks exactly like the Fire TV, like even down to the remote. I think the Fire TV is over there, but we also have the game controller. It's basically like a round Nexus Player here, or a round Fire TV, I mean. But the UI is pretty simple. I mean, it'll show you, actually that's Google Play, but it'll show you different movies based on what you've watched. I haven't watched anything yet. I just set it up when I got home. I got home at like 8 o'clock, so I set this up for the show. And so further down you get all your apps, and so of course you get all the Google apps pre-installed. and like Netflix, Hulu Plus. You got different games, which what they told us today is that not all games will be compatible. It's up to the developer. Basically, they have to check the box that it's for Android TV, kind of like they can check the box for certain screen sizes. That's why for a while the G3 didn't have some apps that were compatible, or some apps weren't compatible with it. Like I think it was the college football app from ESPN. That one wasn't compatible for a long time, but now it is, and it was just because it was 2560 by 1440. So far, I mean, works pretty well, but this is basically all I've done.
Now, does it automatically bring in compatible games like that you've already purchased or downloaded before?
I'm not sure. Just
Okay.
see what it goes. Yeah, I've played Riptide GP2, but these other ones I haven't played. Okay, here goes some. Yeah, I've played these ones.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's just looking at it now, it doesn't look like it has the normal sort of Android layout. It sort of has its own sort of layout. I was looking forward to seeing like material design on Android TV, so you can have one consistent UI with all of your Android devices. Well, oh yeah, two icons. Okay.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't want like real icons all over my screen. I like how it looks on here. I mean, you can see the material design here, like in the settings, and even in like the play, even up here, like you can see the material design.
Actually, I can't see nothing.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little bright though.
Yeah. And this is at the lowest setting, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I can't wait to get my hands on one too then.
What they also told us with the voice search is you could say, I think the example they used was like, show me video or movies that were Oscar nominated in like 1991, and it'll show you all those movies. So it's not just like find Fast and Furious and it'll show you all those movies. So
that's pretty cool.
It's basically what you thought Google would do.
Yeah, so, knowledge graph is getting insane at this point.
And they added that to Gmail today as well. So that you can voice search like that through Gmail too.
Yeah, nice, good stuff. Well, you got lots of reviews coming out eventually, so.
And I have a Note 4 coming tomorrow, so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Note 4, no surprise the Verizon one is locked down, like crazy, and we're seeing a developer edition might be coming out, so $700 or so, which for a Note really isn't bad, especially considering some of those are like $900.
Yeah, Verizon's are selling for $700 off contract, but like AT&T is like $825 before taxes and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know why AT&T is so expensive.
I don't know. Maybe Verizon cut them a deal because now they're getting two devices.
Or maybe Samsung said, or I think you actually said this joke earlier, like last week or something. Samsung told them that if you don't put as many logos on there, they can get it cheaper.
Yeah.
Every logo is $50 off.
And you know what's funny about like the Droid Turbo? That's the only logo. And I think on the ballistic nylon, it doesn't even say Verizon. I think it just says Droid.
Yep.
They got their red on there.
Yeah,
the red
is Droid. Yeah.
I would say at this point everybody knows what a Droid is, so it's
I wouldn't say
just having Verizon on there.
I wouldn't say that. Among us, we do, but the average consumer, they still say AT&T has Droids.
Oh, that it drives me nuts, and I know it's stupid, but I just want to smack everyone that says Droid. I'm like, and Droid, but
Yes, you know what? I take it back. You're right.
Or the new Galaxy. That's all people know. Droid and Galaxy.
Yep. Exactly. So I think that one's only going to be able to be bought from Samsung on the website. So good luck finding it when it goes up. But if you want to unlock one, that's probably the way to go. Instead of waiting a month for the bootloader eventually get cracked.
Yeah, they only make like 5 anyways.
Yeah, probably.
That's how the developer editions usually go, especially for Verizon, because I don't think many people buy them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of just to fulfill a little niche market, and that's it. And then I guess I don't know if these are quite niche devices anymore. I think they're a little bit more mainstream now than they were a couple of years ago. But we have the Oppo N3 and the R5. So the R5 is the one we were talking about 10 minutes ago or
Mm.
whatever. The
Okay.
4.85 millimeters thin, which is absurd. So if you've ever held an iPhone 6, I think what is that 6.2 or something like that millimeters, and that feels not even there. So this is another almost 2 millimeters thinner, which
Yeah.
I don't see the point, but it's something they can say about their device.
Yeah. Just like you guys said before, any news I mean, any publicity is good publicity. I mean, just us talking about it because it's so thin is huge, and for them to get that recognition as the world's thinnest phone, it's going to draw attention to people who may not even be into technology, just in general. Like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me just look at it, check it out. They may not buy it, but at least it gets the name buzzing in someone's ear. So that's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, exactly. And this thing doesn't have the aluminum unibody thing. It's got the metal frame, so it should be a little stronger. And it's not a huge device anyway. It's 5.2 inch, so it's right in the range of I guess most phones anymore. And then you have I think the specs is a Snapdragon 615, so that's Qualcomm's first 64-bit and first octa-core chip. And then it's got the same 13 megapixel camera from the N1 last year. It's not a swivel camera though, just a regular plain old camera on the back. Nothing super fancy, I guess. And then the N3 takes off where last year's N1 did. It's got a 16 megapixel camera, and this time it's the same sensor size as like the Z3, the Droid Turbo. So it's that bigger physical sensor, so you're gonna get better low light capabilities and stuff, probably less shake. And then of course it swivels like the N1 did, but this time it has a mechanized swivel. So I guess if you hold it on the side and you click panorama, the thing will actually go like this by itself and take a panorama without you having to exert the effort of moving yourself.
Ah, what a ah.
And these are the people that own OnePlus.
My question is, let me get close to the mic. Why? Why are you doing this? What is your purpose?
Do they even know how to count? Because I don't think I saw an N2 anywhere.
Yeah, I don't get that one either. This is like
Yeah.
let's see the Huawei the Ascend Mate 7 jumping
Yeah.
from what were they at 2 and then 7?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, we'll just
Well,
go
when
by
they went to
numbers.
7, I thought it was going to be a 7-inch phone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is an actually smaller phone. It was 6 inches instead of 6.1. And then with the small bezels, it's even smaller.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bizarre. So I don't know.
That phone is amazing, though.
N3, oh yeah, N3 is going to be cool. I'm sure it's one of those phones you bring over, you show all your friends. Everyone's like, "Holy crap, freaking awesome phone!" And then nobody buys it.
Yeah.
Hopefully for Oppo, some people do buy it. I want them
Yeah.
to do well. I like their stuff, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just it's cute, but it's super niche.
Yeah, and that the stitching on the actual camera. I'm not sure if you guys seen the high res images yet, but the stitching on the camera looks bad. I mean, it looks like it doesn't belong there. It looks
It's
like
weird.
it looks like one of those cheesy wallets you buy, and they put a little stitching on it to make yourself feel important. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I mean, it's other beyond that, it's a good looking phone. The whole swivel camera thing is just it's a silly thing that is one of those things that if it breaks, you're not going to repair it. And when you
No.
start adding these weird mechanisms to your device and moving parts, you have more room for error when it comes to device malfunction. So that's something that worries me a little bit. And I just think the whole concept is just silly that people are so into themselves they need their selfie in 13 megapixels.
16, man,
Oh,
16.
excuse me, 16 megapixels. I mean, that's going to show every zit, every blemish when you zoom in on the picture. For me, I
That's right.
want a 1 megapixel so I look real blurry. and that's the best way I look. So
that's what you need that beauty mode for, right?
oh God. Well, I think they actually have pretty face mode. It's on the Oppo devices. It's called pretty face or something like that. It's just like the beauty face, but it's called pretty face or something, which is it just blurs your face. It just puts the smudge tool on your face, which makes yourself look beautiful. I guess.
Auto airbrushing.
I think they all have that now. Because Sony has something like that. I don't remember the exact name of it, but they have something like that. And Sony has so much stuff in their camera app, but it's so well put in there.
Yeah.
I
basically,
guess say it.
But basically, it's the mode called "You're ugly, so let's smudge your face so you look a little bit better." I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Now for a little more things that make sense in software stuff. We have the Google Play Store gift cards that can be used for subscriptions, which is excellent. That was always a pet peeve of mine. You know, I got like $30 of Play Store credit or whatever from your birthday or Christmas or something, and then it sits there because I have nothing I want to buy, yet I'm paying $10 a month for Google Play Music. So you can roll that over now. That also works well too if you're somebody like Alex was telling me earlier who doesn't like to put their credit card on or debit card or whatever on Google stuff. So go out and buy your gift cards and do your subscriptions that way. I assume that will work. I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee that, but I know you can do that for other stuff. So why not?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
about Google Music, the Nexus 6, it gives you 6 months of all access for free.
Oh wow!
If you buy it before the end of the year. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty
as
cool.
As long as you haven't subscribed before, though, right?
Probably. It doesn't say that, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was only for new subscribers or something.
The Nexus Player, you get a $20 gift card, though. So that shouldn't matter if you've, I don't know, bought something before.
That works. What were you going to say, Kevin?
No, I was going to just touch on the same thing Alex touched on about the
Gotcha.
gift card that comes with the player. So,
yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool. And also for people who are under the age of 18 as well, and they can just go to the store and buy them a gift card and then pay with it using the gift card if they don't have a credit card too. So I know a lot of people would be happy with that.
That's true. Didn't think about that. And then now Taco Bell lets you place orders on the go, their app. So if the drive-thru is too slow for you, you can now do this, and I'm assuming run in quicker than you can drive through the window, and grab your food and go. So if you got that, 2 a.m., you gotta get a taco. Order it before you leave the house. Go pick it up and get back.
Well, at least they have immersive mode in their app. So
yes,
there's that. It actually looks really good.
Especially I'm immersing myself in nacho cheese. Mmm.
What they need to do is delivery at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's interesting. All these food companies now making these apps so you can order their food faster. So now instead of fast food, it's faster food or the fastest food now. I mean, for me, Taco Bell's been pretty fast, so I don't know why I need to install it on an app. I mean, I guess it's so you get the order right, but
that doesn't even guarantee it.
Yeah, true. But yelling for that PA sometimes, repeating yourself 30 times is difficult. So I guess it's, using your application and just send it over to them and then go pick it up, which I still think is silly because Taco Bell is so fast. They grab the mystery meat, throw in the mystery sauce, and you have Taco Bell. So
yes.
I don't know, man.
I forget the mystery cheese.
Oh, mystery cheese. Yeah, and then you use the bathroom and some mystery stuff come out of you, and you're so confused of what just happened. So that's Taco Bell, and now I'm getting sued tomorrow.
Hey, I love Taco Bell, but yes,
if you want some Mexican food, just go to Mexican Town here in Detroit. There's some real food over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been down there. Man.
Armando's. Well, Qdoba's not over there, but they do some good stuff too.
Just don't go to Ruby Tuesday in Times Square. My salmon was so undercooked, and I don't send food back. But I paid for it this morning and this evening too. So yeah, leave it at that.
That was on 42nd Street and 7th Street in Manhattan.
That's
Don't
great.
go. Yeah, don't go.
Oh man. uh, I can't even get to the next thing now. Jeez. Well, I guess if you want to feel better, you can use the new Google Fit app that was dropped in the Play Store. Go run, go run on my Taco Bell off.
Well, what I don't like about the Google Fit app is that it basically wiped out all your steps before the app came out.
Yay!
Because I had like almost 40,000 steps on Monday from walking around New York, and then I installed it too, and all that was gone. Like it
It's
didn't
the
transfer it.
it's the ultimate motivation. Is like everything you did up until this point is nothing.
Yeah,
Fitness starts today. I love
That's
it.
right.
I love it.
it told me at like I think 8:30 this morning that I hit my goal, and I hadn't even gotten to Google's event or the airport or home. So
Jeez.
Hey,
I
you
basically
must,
got out of my hotel and gotten halfway there.
hey,
And it was like, there you go.
you must have did some sleepwalking or something going on. I don't know, man.
I don't know
Yeah,
because
for
I didn't
real.
have my phone was sitting on the table next to my bed charging with the turbocharger.
Mm.
So it was probably done like 6 hours before I unplugged it.
I like
You
it.
know, but on a serious note, when it comes to like the fit applications, anything that would motivate people to get up and be more active and exercise, I think is cool because, just like the movie Wall-E said, we're all going to end up with phones attached to our face and not moving anywhere we go ever in life. I mean, it's already happening with Google Glass now. So, I mean, if we can use technology to get ourselves fit and get ourselves active, I'm all for it. This lady at my job, she has a wristband. I think it's one of the Fitbits or something. But every time it vibrates and turns red, she goes for a walk. I'm like, if the machine yells at you and you go for a walk, I'm all for it. Whatever helps you achieve your goals, I'm for it. And it seems like something that you have to have now on your device for people to even consider it. So, kudos
Yeah,
to Google
Yeah.
on that one.
I have the Fitbit Flex here, and I haven't used it since I got the G Watch. But I liked a lot of the features Fitbit had. I just don't want to wear this and a watch. So
Yeah.
I was
Like,
really hoping Google Fit would do some good stuff, and it's pre-installed on the Nexus 6. So
Yeah, I think the only thing that's kind of weird about Google Fit is it doesn't seem to
very,
sync
very
your
cool.
stuff between
it
devices.
doesn't. It doesn't. Because on my Xperia Z3V and the Droid Turbo, it had two different numbers for. I think it came out Tuesday, or was it Monday? It came out. I think it was Tuesday.
I think it was Tuesday.
But it had two different numbers, and I installed it and basically set up on both of them at the exact same time. So
Yeah,
and
like
then-
I just set it up on my OnePlus One. I had it on the Mizu MX4 earlier, and I just had to re-input all the info.
yeah,
Well,
hopefully they
Not-
do device syncing. I haven't figured it out, or maybe I have. Yeah, at first I couldn't figure out how to get Android Wear to work with it, but it just started working automatically eventually.
Yeah,
What what I also like is that it shows you like you can't really see, but it shows you where you walked. So like for me, it shows me that I walked in New York and then Flushing, New York, and you can see like the graph details. So by hour, you can see how much you've walked. So basically, I walked in the morning and didn't walk since.
you slug.
Well, it's because I turned this phone off because it was at like 8%. And then I
Yeah,
went to
I'm hoping this will be a little more coherent than just the step and then like the random, hey Google, what's my heart rate on my watch?
yeah,
Maybe put some of that stuff together to make a little more sense for me.
yeah.
I think that was my biggest disappointment. I got the Gear Live over the G Watch because I'm like, oh yeah, I want a heart rate sensor on my watch. That makes sense. And then I don't ever use it because it does nothing.
Yeah,
What
it's-
I'd really like to see with Google Fit is something like Google Play Games, so you can compete with your friends. I've said this before, but that's one of the things I really liked about the Fitbit is that I can compete with other people because I don't know about everybody else, but that motivates me to get more active.
Yeah, that's why people go to the gym and stuff. Makes sense to me.
Because I want to be
Yeah.
number one.
There you go.
Number
Same
one.
here.
Yeah.
And then you have people cheating on the leaderboards like they do now, and they'll throw it in the
Yeah.
dryer or whatever, and have it on spin cycle. So it makes it seem like they're walking all day.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm doing that.
I'm not speaking from experience with my Pokemon, the one you shake in, you automatically get points.
That's amazing! Why didn't I ever think of that? Jeez. Man. I feel left out. I need to go back to middle school now and do that over again.
Exactly.
Jeez. Alright, well that's it for our agenda. So I don't know. Have we pretty much covered everything that's new with you, Alex?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was quite a bit there, so.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened this week.
Yeah, it's been a busy device week, that's for sure. And then Kevin, we always do this little segment at the end where we do what's new in your Android world. So you've got your Droid Turbo there. I don't know if you got anything else, apps, games, whatever else.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm using the Droid Turbo. So far, I like the device. What I find myself using a lot, I would say my number one app that I install first on every single phone is T9 App Dialer. It's an application where you can sort of you use it as an app launcher, and then when you press it, you go to a part where you can type in the name of the application. So if you have a lot of apps on your phone, you can get to an application in about 3 taps. And that's my favorite application. And also, I am playing the game Retry. It's one of the most annoying but fulfilling games ever, and I played that for about 3 hours over the last 2 days, and it's a really cool game. So if you circle me on Google+, we can compare scores on the leaderboard, and I love to compete with people.
Yeah, I'm gonna add you on Google Plus after this so we can play around because I just started playing that yesterday. One of my friends popped that in there and it's nice. It's the first Rovio game that I've enjoyed since I think Angry Birds Seasons. And that's not to say anything wrong about their stuff, but it's nice that we have something different from them than just slinging birds around the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for sure.
All right. Well, is that it with you?
And the way they handle the ads in that game is actually pretty cool, I think. But the ads aren't too in your face, but they're sort of in the background as you fly around. And also, there's a couple of levels where you can get extra points, ad levels, where it's just ads throughout the whole level. But I think the way they did it, the way they handle it is really nice. It's not too intrusive. So.
Yeah, and you get little retry points like in the middle of levels and stuff that you can land at and watch an ad and unlock, basically. So yeah, that was awesome. I agree. I totally forgot about that because you're right. Usually it's like a bar on the top or the bottom that's just in the right space where you're supposed to click or something, Very annoying little thing. Let's see. For devices for myself, I've got 3 here as well. We had the Mizu MX4 I got last week. I'm finishing up the review on that. I didn't get to show it on the screen last week, but it's got an interesting looking back. It sort of looks like maybe an HTC phone, and then of course the front.
It looks like the first Ascend Mate.
Yeah.
Last year? Yeah, last year CES 2013. The Ascend Mate was like bluish though, but it looks like the same material.
Yeah, it's like an aluminum type of material.
Yeah.
It's got a nice feel. I'm not a big fan of metal phones because they're just slippery.
Yeah.
But it feels good. I don't know. I mean, I would get a case for it if it were going to be my personal phone. That's for sure. I love the phone though. It's a really good phone. It's got a, for the most part, pretty phenomenal camera. Shutter speed's a little slow on HDR, which makes it useless in most situations. But having the OnePlus One, I'm used to a useless HDR mode. So that's how it goes. So I'll hopefully have that review out by the end of the week. What'd you say, Kevin? That's all right. And then I got 2. Oh, okay, I gotcha. All right, and then we got 2 Android One phones. So I got the Sparkle one here, and then I got the Micromax one as well. Which these will be interesting to go over. Yeah, I know.
Box for an Android One
It's
phone.
funny, isn't it? Look at the size difference.
Yeah. That's like the I've already packed it up to go back, but the Xperia Z3 V box was like that size.
Yeah,
but the Z3 is not that size. It's weird.
Yeah, and look, you got the phone here, and then the rest of it's like I don't know stuff.
That's how HTC and Verizon with Sony did their boxes, because HTC, the M7 and M8 were like that.
Yep. Yeah, and I haven't done anything more than take these out of the box. I just got them yesterday, and just haven't really had time to mess around with them yet. I'll get to this after the Mizu, but I love the concept of Android One. You know, because not everybody can afford even a $300 phone or whatever. You know, a lot of these $700 phones just crazy. Google went off the deep end with the Nexus 6 on the pricing and stuff. So it's nice to see an officially supported phone that is going to get updates, that's not going to have problems, that's not going to have stupid manufacturer skins. It's a good version of Android on there for cheap.
And it's not even that people can't afford to pay $700. It's why should you pay $700 for a phone? You know.
Absolutely. Well,
quickly, we go through phones. We don't want to pay $700 every year, even twice a year. I know I go through a lot of phones, but at least I get that money back.
You know that they put. You know, and they put a lot of things in the phone that are important to people in those regions as well, like dual SIMs and FM tuners, stuff that people over there care about. So it's really designed for them, which is actually really cool.
I mean, we kind of already have Android One here. I said it before, but with the Moto G and the Moto E, that seems to be Android One for the rest of the world outside of Asia. Because right now Android One, I think, is just in India, but it's supposed to be going to other areas as well. And I know a bunch of manufacturers jumped on board after those three Android One phones were launched, including Samsung, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole bunch of.
I mean, a Samsung phone with stock Android updated by Google. That's been a while.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the Galaxy Nexus wasn't all that good. No. But then I had a CDMA variant, so that might have also been Sprint's fault.
I love the Galaxy Nexus for what it's worth.
What about the camera?
For the time, it wasn't too bad.
You know, somebody asked me to compare the Droid Turbo camera to the Note 2.
You have to remember, I came from the HTC G2 or Vision, whatever you want to call the thing, which going from the Nokia N95 to that was horrible. The camera on that HTC phone was terrible. So going to the Galaxy Nexus after that was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I went from, I think it was the HTC Sensation as well. No, I went from the Droid Bionic to the Galaxy Nexus on Sprint. That was not much of a difference. I mean, battery life was, well, about the same. The Droid Bionic was so terrible on battery. But it was like the first Motorola LTE device, though. That's probably why.
Yeah. Exactly. First gen LTE was really bad.
Oh,
just like the HTC Thunderbolt. That thing had like two minutes of battery life.
The charge was terrible. One of my coworkers, when I worked in the ITS help desk, he had the Samsung charge. Actually, another one had the Thunderbolt too. Man, every time I see them, they're plugged into the wall.
Yeah, basically. Well, I'd say that about wraps this one up. So,
yep.
You're all ready? I'm ready to sign off.